Now, just in case I didn't, let me do this real quick. This is something that I would recommend to anybody that has a boat and does boating, or anybody that goes on a boat with a friend or a family member. Anybody that's been on a boat or goes on a boat or owns a boat, regardless of the size. I recommend something like this. This is something that I use when I am teaching Man Overboard. Now, this is just one of a number of things that I use, but this one here, for some reason, a lot of people kind of go for this one. So, what this is when you're doing a Man Overboard, larger vessels, it's a must that you have a Man Overboard plan. Commercial vessels and stuff like that. The smaller vessels, the private owned, I mean, you really don't have to have it, but you know what? You should. There's a few things you should do. But let's talk to this for a minute. Man Overboard. If you're on a vessel, a boat, regardless of the size, let's say recreational, so we're talking 20, 30, 40 footer, and you see a man goes overboard, somebody falls off the boat, or you see somebody fall off another boat, and they didn't see him, but you did. All right? You yell out, "Man overboard." Well, as soon as you start yelling out, "Man overboard," you have to start pointing. Point towards the man overboard. And as the boat changes, naturally your point's going to change. You're always going to stay on target with your finger. Broad arm out, finger out. Make sure whoever's piloting the boat can see you and hear you. All right. Now, if they can't see you, you want to make sure they can hear you, because that's going to be next. As you're pointing, you're also yelling out directions. So if the guys are in front of me, and I'm on the bow of the boat when I noticed it, naturally the guy piloting the boat is going to see me on the bow, hopefully, and I could be pointing forward, and as I'm pointing, I'm yelling out 0, 0, 0. That's telling him that the man overboard is in front of us. Now, from there, depending on how you're going to set it up, you can either start using it by degrees of your compass. As I turn, I'd start saying, at this point, 225 or 045 or 315, depending on where I'm at on the compass. Or I can start yelling out 2 points starboard, 2 points aft, and whatever it is here. As long as he knows that we're on the same page, he'll know which way to go. So if he can't see me, he can at least hear me. Now, if the vessel is too big, there may be radio communications going on. So again, this is what he's going to go by. Whatever I'm yelling to him on the radio, or whatever's being relayed to him from other people. So, but whoever spotted the overboard stays with the overboard until the overboard's picked up. And that's how it works. So this is something that's nice to have on a boat. If you have a relatively larger boat, you may want to have more than one. Laminate them. I've actually seen these on some of the larger vessels where they laminate it, and they'll have one down below, they'll have one aft, they'll have one forth, they'll have a couple on the helm, and they'll have them naturally corresponding with the front of the boat, like this. You don't want to have the front of the boat going forward and have this thing up backwards, because you're going to be confusing whoever's yelling it out. This way, whoever's on board has an idea what's going on, as well as the captain. So, man overboard is important. Now, with that being said, when you go on a boat, and it's your first time on the boat, don't feel funny by asking questions. One, where are the fire extinguishers? And how many do you have? Where are the life vests? Your personal flotation devices. Make sure they're not still in the original packaging. They're no good to you if they're in a package. If I was to pull over one of the vessels to do a safety check and it's in a package, you're going to get a ticket for that, because they're not supposed to be in their package. They can all be in a bag, they can all be in a box, they can all be in something, but if each one is individually still in their new packaging or with their little strings and ties and prices attached, that's a no-no. So at that point, these are questions you want to ask. Where's the life jackets? Where's the fire extinguishers? Where is your flare kits? You want to know these things, because if the captain gets to a point to where the vessel is going down and can't remember, or is knocked unconscious, whatever the case may be, everybody on that boat should know where everything is, as well as somebody other than the captain on the boat should know how to operate the boat, because if he gets knocked out and the boat's adrift, somebody on there should know how to use it, as well as knowing how to use the radio to call for help. So these are things that if you're going on a boat for the first time, don't feel funny asking these questions. And if you own a boat and you're bringing somebody on your boat for the first time, you should be telling them these things without them even asking. So these are things you have to look at. When it comes to boater safety, you got to remember, there's no stop signs, there's no traffic lights, there's no street signs out there. There's no place to pull over if the boat goes down. This is it. So, be prepared. Just like tethering. You may want to have enough line to tether 2, 3, 4 people together. Within a safe distance of one another. 5, 6, 7 feet apart. Give them a little room to maneuver their arms and to help stay afloat, even though they got the vest on. If you have a man overboard bag, make sure that's tethered to you. This your way, if you get separated, you can only get so far apart, especially at night or during the day in rough weather. You'd be surprised if a wave comes up and comes down where it's going to separate you guys. And at night, if you're in the water for too long, you're going to want to be able to huddle. So these tether lines are going to help you for all these things. As well as in your man overboard bag. It'd be nice to have a handheld radio with a charged battery. It'd be nice to have a small handheld GPS. It doesn't have to be a great one, but you want a marine grade so that they're not going to go dead on you if they go in the water. This way you can read out your longitude and latitude to the Coast Guard. If the boat goes down and you're in the water, your phone's not going to work, and whatever's on that boat is no good to you because it's underwater. So you have to rely on what you have on you. And the flares are only going to work if they're looking for you. So you have to get them looking for you before they're going to flare them. So at this point, these are things you have to think about. Tethering, overboard bags, fresh water. That's another thing you should have on the boat, because if you go overboard, you may want to have some type of a container that will float that you can keep some fresh water in, as well as other things that you may need, that's sealed from the elements, your water, any little medication that you may have. Never keep your medication in the medication bottle when you're on board a boat for a day. All right, put a couple in a little Ziploc. Tighten them up nice and tight. Put them in your vest, put them in your pocket, put them where they're going to be safe. And at that point, you'll be forgiven if somebody pulls you over, Coast Guard pulls you over, you got 2 pills in your pocket. They're going to understand. It's not like you're running the streets with it. You can always put them back in the prescription bottle when you get safe at home, where the bottle is safe, or wherever it may be. So these are things you got to think about. Safety, safety, safety. Everybody in that boat should know something about the boat. All right? And there should be more than one person who knows how to operate the boat. Even if it means you have to let them run the boat a little bit to be familiar with the boat. All right? Let them know a little bit about this, especially if the boats are getting a little bit bigger, where one person, the captain, can't do everything. Another thing is, you never want to put a boat hook out to try to grab somebody, because you don't want to impale them with it. Use throw lines, throw cushions with the lines attached. So you throw the cushion, and if you miss, you can retrieve it. Throw it again. If you throw the cushion and you get him, you can pull him in. Throwing him a cushion and having him go adrift out there is one thing, but it'd be nice to be able to get him out of the water. So these are things you have to think about when it comes to boating. And again, I can go on and on and on with this. Anybody that's been Coast Guard or Navy will understand this. Anybody that's been long-time boaters will understand this. This is for the newbies out there. Again, you're going to go on a boat, charter boat, any boat, ask these questions. They're going to help you in the long run. You never know when you're going to need it. And you can't depend on the captain or the first mate or whoever else is on the boat to get you through it. The more you know, the better it's going to be for everybody. So, all right, guys, I'm done. Catch you later.